everyone. Welcome back.
It's the Spider Pals podcast.
Back with another episode.
I'm Addie.
I'm Zach.
And I'm B-Man.
And today we're talking about...
Avengers Doomsday.
I was trying to think. So there was a rumor that was last week, I think on Thursday, that they were going to release it, like actually release it. And we originally planned to film the episode then, and then nothing dropped.
Yeah, it was rumored for quite some time to drop with Avatar, and then they were like, hey, we're going to do it on this random Thursday instead. That's the new rumor. I personally was not buying it. I was like, there's no way they're just going to drop it on a random Thursday. Multi-million-dollar film. That's when they're going to drop it. So, makes sense that it ended up like playing out that way. Now, the 4 trailers I thought was interesting, which I think is cool, but also like kind of sucks at the same time, because if you want to see them all in theaters, you have to go see Avatar Fire and Ash 4 different times, which, is great for marketing, great for money, but as a fan, it's not great. So we just got to rely on the leakers, because I'm not going to go see that movie 4 times. Even if it's amazing, 10 out of 10 movie, I don't think I would go and see it 4 different times.
So TikTok basically exploded when these leaks started to come out, and I downloaded them. Right now, I cannot find them on TikTok anymore. TikTok has been... There was this one meme I saw that Kevin Feige was like, with the lightsaber, like just taking these down. And so I downloaded it.
That's how you know it's real, though.
Yes, that's how you know it's real. And I'll put up some images from the trailer. I'm not going to actually put the trailer in here because we don't feel like getting sued. But basically in the trailer, all you need to know is Steve Rogers is back.
My boy. I'm so excited. Cannot wait. Yeah, the first, rumor, theory, whatever, that he was going to come back into it, I was instantly like, yes, he has to. It will literally be perfect. So yeah, when we got the confirmed trailer, it was, very, very exciting. Cannot wait to see it. The fact that he's got a baby just makes it even better. I am interested to see, does he have a shield at this moment in time? I'm curious, because, he could have gotten one before going back to pay. Obviously, he's got the one he gives to Sam in Endgame. But I'm curious to see if he has a shield still, because, he put his uniform away in that box, right? Which I think is kind of a symbolism that he's putting away Captain America and, focusing on being a father, obviously. But also, I think it's because they're not going to really lean into him being Captain America to not disrespect Sam Wilson. Because some people I've seen online, people saying stuff about that, how they think it's disrespectful to him because they're just replacing him again. I don't think they're going to do that. I think with the trailer, him putting his suit away, showing that he's putting that part of his life behind him, and he's just going to be Steve Rogers. Because in the end of the trailer, it says Steve Rogers will return in Avengers Doomsday, not Captain America will return in Avengers Doomsday. So I think that they're going to focus on that part, which I'm perfectly fine with and very excited for, because I think I think Anthony Mackie's doing a great job as Sam Wilson's Captain America, and definitely want to see him continue growing that. And I think if we do get a scene with Steve and Sam Wilson, I think it would be really cool to kind of have them to have a talk or something about, how hard it is being Captain America and how to bring to stand up. And obviously a reunion with Bucky would be 10 out of 10, needs to happen. And then, okay, if we throw a little John Walker in there, because he's going to be that would be kind of cool to see that little dynamic there. I think a team up with all 4 of them, Sam, Bucky, Steve, and Walker, that would be amazing to see, a little team up thing.
Captain Americans.
Yeah, and another thing I had to say about Cap as well is, since obviously he went back in time, what if in Doomsday he says to a group of Avengers, if they're all, trying to assemble teams and everything, what if he comes in and mentions Peter Parker? Because he's still going to remember he hasn't been affected. This thought, he has not been affected by Doctor Strange's curse that he put on, or magic, spell, whatever you want to call it. He hasn't been affected by the spell at all. So he would still remember coming, he's from a different timeline coming back into this one.
That's crazy.
And then people will obviously be confused, who's Peter Parker? And he's like, Spider-Man. And everyone's like, wait, Peter Parker's Spider-Man? That would be kind of cool to see. Even if, all the Avengers know, they kind of, remember that Peter is Spider-Man, but the world doesn't know yet. Like, if they keep that a secret within the Avengers, I think that'd be cool. But I still do want, like, in Brand New Day and beyond, the whole world, to not know that Peter Parker's Spider-Man. Just, be more comic accurate and stuff. But I do think that would be really cool to see Steve come back and mention Peter in some way. I think that would be really cool.
Okay.
Oh, we need more help. The kid from Queens, right? The kid from Queens.
Yep.
Wait, no, that would be so cool. Okay, so here's my running theory, and I have been thinking about this all day, and it's driving me crazy. Okay, so I sent in the group, I sent a video, and I'll have our editor throw it up after this, but all that happens in Endgame is after the whole building explodes, Tony finds Cap, and he's like, oh, when you mess with time, time messes back, or like something along those lines, and then says, you'll see. We never see the repercussions of that. So my idea is, in Endgame, and I know we were planning the Kang Dynasty, but like, for the sake of this, act like that's not happening. And when they're in the elevator together, when it's Steve and Tony, like, back traveling in time, when they separate at the elevator, it's like Steve says, good luck on your mission, Doctor. And then Tony leaves, like Dr. Doom or whatever. And also, if Steve goes back to, Peggy, Howard Stark is alive. So he can get a shield that way. But also, he knows that Bucky's going to go and kill Howard. He can stop it. And being Steve Rogers, he's going to try and stop it, which means it'll change the way that Tony grew up. Because Tony, one of the biggest things was being raised by Obadiah Stane instead, also becoming this big playboy, instead of growing up and resenting his father and all of these things. So, in, like, him going back, Steve Rogers might have accidentally created Dr. Doom. Just a little bit. That's fine. Running theory.
That's a good theory. That's a good idea.
I haven't seen it anywhere. And I'm like, wait, hold on. This actually might be real.
Yes, well, and it lines up with the other rumors, too, that the movie's going to focus on the rivalry between Steve Rogers and Dr. Doom, which would play into that theory that you suggest. And no, I think that would be great, especially with, or even if Steve goes back in time, right? He can get his shield back, like the normal shield that he would have like had before, not the one that Thanos broke. He would, like, his original one. He would get that one back. He very well could. And then, or he just gets a remade one, the one that he gives to Sam Wilson, because those two shields are slightly different. But no, that's a really good idea. I didn't ever think about that. And it would also make sense when they go back in time to the military base in Endgame. Like, Tony looks very confused at Howard when he says that his wife is pregnant, because either Tony would not have been, like, conceived at that point, or he would have already been born at the point where he, like, when they went to the military base. Now, I've seen lots of theories how, like, what if the time machine, like, going back in time, if it goes by a day, month, year, or a year, month, day. Like, I've seen several theories about that. We won't get into that because it's not original to us. But I think those ideas that people have had that, in that, when they go back in time, that's what's altering, the whole timeline, the layout, that Tony becomes Doom. But I really like your theory about that one, like Cap. Yes, because Cap goes back in time. He knows about Bucky. Bucky would stop that, which is messing with time and, like, the whole thing as a whole, causing a more...
Like, with the whole, like, time, the TVA thing, which I'm still kind of confused on how all that works. But, like, that could affect that, too, and that could bring in Loki. So there's, like, I honestly feel like it's probably the best way to, like, actually make it plausible, unless Dr. Doom just magically time travels into ours. I don't know how Fantastic Four will play into it, but that was just my running theory. You heard it here first. If it happens, I will freak out. But
I wouldn't be surprised if Doom is, like, from another universe. That would make sense, or some alternate timeline in itself. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if they play off, because Steve, when he goes back with Peggy, he creates, an entire different timeline, right? Essentially. So what if Doom is from that timeline? That would make the most sense to me, especially if what the rumors are true with the rivalry focusing on, Steve versus Doom. That would be really cool to see, because that way it keeps our mainline MCU intact, because I don't want them to mess with Tony Stark at all from the MCU. I want him to have his legacy, keep true to his character, but another universe where things play out differently, that would be kind of cool to see, especially like almost it'll be like a what if scenario, but like live action and like mainstream, right?
Live action.
So, and with that too, I did see a theory. So Loki from the Loki series, he's from 2012 Avengers because he grabs Tesseract and goes away. TVA shows up, gets him, and he's all confused. He's like, the Avengers did it. Well, the TVA says the Avengers did exactly what they were supposed to do. Like, what they did was supposed to happen, I think is like what the TVA agent says. So I hope that they, stayed true to that and keep that intact. She said the Avengers as a whole, what they did was fine. She didn't mention anything about Steve going back in time because that was separate from the Avengers. Because Avengers took the time stones out of the timeline and then returned them back. Steve, though, stayed back, which could create another branch or alternate timeline. Yeah. And then adding another thing onto that, if Tony, from alternate dimension, timeline, whatever you want to call it, when Loki takes the Tesseract and goes out, some people have theorized because obviously in that scene, or back in Endgame, right, Tony, like, from 2012, his, like, heart's all messed up and, like, he gets, like, falls down or whatever it is. It goes in cardiac arrest because of the arc reactor. Yeah. What if some people theorize? What if that Tony is Doctor Doom, like from that like little branch timeline, and that would like kind of line up with like the Loki series? Why he's coming for Loki? Because I just thought about this off the top of my head. That could be why if that version of Tony, from his cardiac arrest, heart attack from the, Ant-Man ruining the arc reactor, he could see that as Loki ruining that for him and going back to the tree. It could work maybe that way. I don't think they probably will, but it's fun to think about. Kind of cool idea. But I do like the idea of the one you have of Tony Stark or Victor Von Doom, however they want to spin it off as, being from alternate timeline dimension, but just of a different Tony Stark variant. I think that would be kind of cool.
So, like, kind of where my brain was at, it's just, like, they have to, if they're going to include Steve Rogers, it's going to be out of need. Like, Steve Rogers is going to need it for himself because they have no way of communicating to him unless they were to go back in time, and even then, they would need, they don't have Tony Stark anymore, and he was, like, one of the smartest people on the planet. So, like, building the time machine again, because it got destroyed in the explosion, doing all of that, I find it very difficult to do without Tony Stark, let alone Bruce Banner. And we don't even know how Bruce is going to play into Doomsday. Like, we have Ant-Man, but I don't know.
I was just about to say, they have Ant-Man, and they're going to have Reed Richards.
Yeah, Reed Richards.
So I forgot about him. Yeah.
There was a leaked picture of Reed and Ant-Man kind of in the same building as Endgame where they first built the time travel device. There was a leaked scene of that. So what if that's how they go back to Steve? Is they, figure out.
I feel like Reed Richards is smart enough to know that you don't mess with time unless you have to. I feel like it's going to be a Steve Rogers ending up in their timeline. He's like, I need help. Like, you don't understand. Or Loki is going to, like, somehow and be like, what did you just do? Like, something like that.
Yeah.
Because also, this is kind of throwing it off for a second. His kid, I'm very interested to see what happens with that. Because, one, either the kid's going to grow up and be in our timeline, I guess, or, because the time travel thing is weird because no one knows quite exactly how it works. So either his kid's going to grow up, something's going to happen to his kid, or, I'm interested to see how his kid and Peggy play into things. I want to see. I don't think they'll do a Captain Carter thing, but honestly, Marvel pushes her character so hard, I would not be surprised. Is this kid going to have powers? Like, I feel like him having a kid is definitely going to be an important thing.
For sure, they're not just going to write it off like,
maybe him
he's
and
the
Franklin
dad
will be
now.
besties. You never know.
It's going to be.
I thought about that, yeah.
Like a little play date at Avengers.
I'm both equally excited and worried because I can also see Doom using his kid as some sort of bargaining chip at some point in the movie, or Steve has to make the difficult choice, leave Peggy and his son for the multiverse.
Do we know it's a son or is it a daughter? Do we know?
I believe it's a
It's
son.
done in the comics.
In the comics.
Okay.
Roger.
Yeah, James Roger.
I couldn't remember.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that comic line yet, but I don't know. I saw a rumor that they're using his actual kid as the baby in the movie, but I'm pretty sure he has a daughter. So
I don't know because I think his daughter has black hair or brown hair, and the baby was blonde.
CGI exists. You saw Franklin's eyes; they were like So
Yeah.
yeah, you could see everything. That or like Battle of the Babies. You never know. Babies are gonna be important in this movie because of Franklin for sure. And obviously Steve Rogers and
he's 4 now. He's not a baby.
well, he's still a baby. Have you seen a 4-year-old in person? I mean,
What
how
was the
old's
book?
your youngest sister? I can't remember.
She's 3.
I still consider her a baby. If she's small enough to carry, she's a baby.
But he's Reed Richards' son though. At 4, he was already reading like those scientific textbooks,
Which makes him
like,
dangerous, though. Like, that's the scary thing. I don't know. I'm interested to see what happens, because also if Steve Rogers' kids have powers, then obviously I feel like Doom's gonna also want to, like, because I don't know if any of our viewers watch Stranger Things, but one of the biggest plots that is happening at this last season is the like big bad guy, like Vecna. He's like using kids because they're like easily manipulated. Like, so Franklin and Steve Rogers' kid, depending how old they are when all of this goes down, he might be using them as like, I guess, like kind of a form of like a human shield situation where it's like you can't hurt Doom without hurting the kids situation, which is probably the smartest play he can make depending on what their ages are. But also I need to read up more on like Doom's actual like powers and stuff, because I haven't really dug into that yet. But I honestly think it's going to be Steve Rogers coming to our universe, or not, or the MCU. I mean, it'd be great if he came here, but I don't think he will. Like the MCU universe, and needing help, or Loki is definitely going to be like, what did you just do? Like, okay, now we have to go back and fix it.
I can see that. Now, I personally don't think that Doom would go after Rogers' kids for the power specifically, because it's already been established in Fantastic Four that like Franklin is the thing he needs, right? Mm-hmm. Galactus, Doom, he is like,
the baby.
The baby, right? Like he is the power. So I don't think he would need Rogers' kids for any reason, because Franklin's already kind of filling that spot. Mm-hmm. But it is one thing to think about, could be using as, human shield, like you said, or bargaining chip in some way.
So I think another thing, since Marvel is at this point where there's lots of characters that newer fans and older fans haven't quite been like, I kind of like this character. So there's like I don't want to say like the stamp of approval or whatever, but I think one of the big things, like if Steve is actually interacting with a lot of these characters, I'm interested to see his dynamic with like Yelena, because he never met Yelena, and like he'll see Natasha in her a bit. So I think one of like his bigger parts, if they choose to involve him a lot, is like Steve Rogers is like the first Avenger. Like he's our we trusted him like instantly with the universe and everything. So if Steve Rogers likes these characters, then I feel like more fans will also like them. So I'm interested to see like how he interacts with like our newer characters, like you said, John Walker. Never met John, but honestly I don't think Steve's gonna hate him. I think he'll be like, huh, okay, like that. And then like Bob and like Thunderbolts overall got a pretty good like rating on like who likes the characters and stuff, but some of our newer characters like Monica Rambeau, if she plays into this, Miss Marvel, I mean the Fantastic Four, which I know a lot of people are already on board with, but some people aren't. The new Falcon, I can't.
Joaquin.
Yes.
Joaquin.
Like him, which honestly I'm really excited to see him in the film too, because he's just like a funny, lighthearted character, and like you said with Peter Parker potentially being pulled into this, that would be fantastic, because like, we all love Peter Parker. Can he come back? That'd be great.
I personally don't think that Peter will be in Doomsday.
He might be.
Just because I think, he's already been, Tom's been already so busy filming for all Brand New Day and all that. So that's kind of going to be his, main focus, I think. Maybe he'll be in like a post-credit scene, or maybe he'll make a cameo, but I don't think he's going to be like a main part in it in any way, just because we already have so many characters going on anyways. I personally think that Doomsday is going to blow Endgame out of the water, both in scope, how much they explore, audience, viewership, all of it. I think Doomsday is going to reach a higher level, and honestly could potentially have more hype if they market it correctly and make good enough trailers. I mean, if they okay, Infinity War has some of the best trailers ever made in history, in my opinion. They have to reach that level of like excitement, which I think they can do. But think about it, because this is not just the Avengers. It's not just MCU. They're bringing in, you know, the Fantastic Four fans, the X-Men fans. They're bringing in so much into this. I think it's going to play out even bigger than probably what most people are thinking. And especially like characters from, Channing Tatum's Gambit from Deadpool and Wolverine, like even bringing that part in, I think the scope is going to be way beyond what we're actually thinking. And I think everyone in general is just going to be ridiculously excited and will probably not believe their eyes when they actually see this film.
Another thing that's been happening with Doomsday is obviously the 4 trailers. So the first one was Steve Rogers. The next one is Thor, which we've already seen some sneak peeks of. Doom, which we haven't seen anything of, which I feel like Marvel's kind of leaking these two, where it's like, hey, Steve, like Thor, like, but like we haven't seen anything of Doom, which honestly, if all the leaks have been happening, I'm kind of shocked. And then the big trailer. So they do have a big like build up to what's happening. So it's either going to be underwhelming or overwhelming. There's no in between. Thor, I'll throw up some pictures here as well, but he kind of looks less like he's playtime Thor, more like actually trying to battle now. Which
yes, I
good.
love the leaked look for him.
Yes.
I think it is. I mean, it's very comic accurate, which is kind of what they've been going for with all this. So that is very exciting to see. Bringing peak Thor back, I think is something they have to do. Bring back Infinity War / Ragnarok Thor, and we will be set. Especially bring him back in with Steve as well. Like seeing that dynamic play out, that will be great to see.
Oh my gosh, wouldn't it be funny if, like, do you guys remember in Infinity War when it's like, you copied my beard, like, you copied my hair?
Yeah.
Like, I just realized that they both have kids now, so, like, they kind of copied each other with that, too. Like,
yeah.
But I don't think they'll put Thor's kid in this movie.
I don't think so either. I think
it was just
any character...
I think they're trying to shove away all the mistakes that have just happened. Kind of like when Deadpool mentioned was like, we don't gotta talk about it. So
obviously, re-releasing Endgame in theaters. There's going to be another post-credit scene that leads into Doomsday. Brewster Brothers have said Doomsday is a direct sequel to Endgame. Some people think that they're going to kind of like write out or take away like all the films since Endgame in between, just kind of like forget they ever happened. I don't think they're going to do that. I think everything that would have happened between Endgame and Doomsday still did occur, still happened, still will remain in the MCU and canon. I just think some things they will just purposely leave out. Like I don't see them bringing back like Thor's daughter, for instance, or She-Hulk. I don't see them bringing her back.
Hulk's son that appeared out of nowhere.
Right.
Like,
I don't think they're going to include that. I don't think they're going to include Hawkeye in this, which is kind of sad. But Jeremy Renner has...
I have a theory on that too, so I'll say that.
Okay. I know they offered Jeremy Renner less money to come back to Hawkeye season 2, and he was not happy about that.
They fixed that though. They had a discussion. Season 2 is happening, apparently. What I've heard.
That's cool.
Marvel's learning.
I also don't see them including like characters from Ant-Man the Wasp or probably not Wakanda Forever either. I mean, obviously we'll have M'Baku and Shuri, but I don't see them doing a ton of
Namor's gonna
stuff there. Yeah, Namor's gonna be.
Namor might be vital in this.
Okay, the entire cast makes sense to me, and then there's Namor. It's like, why is he here? What part is he gonna play in this? I would be curious to see if has some connection to Doom, and like he kind of has an in like with the Wakandans and stuff, and maybe that's how, like maybe Doom arrives into the MCU at Wakanda. Like, that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, I also don't think the sequel to Avengers Endgame is going to include Ironheart. Sorry, I don't.
I'm usually so big on, like, giving a new show a chance, and I'm sorry I can't do Ironheart. From the clips I've seen, like, because I'm such a...
Just trailers
I am
alone.
a Tony fan till I die, even if he's in the wrong. And she's just dissing him the whole time. I'm like, I can't. But back to Hawkeye. I don't know if you guys heard this. I also don't know if it's confirmed. Everything I'm seeing, it says it's confirmed, but you know how it is nowadays. Apparently, there's 5 confirmed deaths that are supposed to happen in Doomsday.
I heard about that.
So I think they might kill Hawkeye. And honestly, it is probably a smart move because, one, he's a character we all love. Jeremy Renner's also, like, after the accident, this is not a bad thing. It's just he can't move the way he used to anymore. His character's also going deaf. I don't see him retiring and living a peaceful life. I'm sorry, Marvel doesn't give that to characters. And I mean, he tried it, and then Infinity War happened. So I honestly think
And
Hawkeye,
Steve tried it, and look what's probably
what
happened.
So I honestly think Hawkeye probably feels so much guilt from Infinity War not fighting, and then what happened, that he's gonna put himself into the fight, and he's just not gonna be able to keep up a bit, and he's gonna either die saving Kate or Yelena. I saw someone say that they're gonna do a Yelena and Clint situation where he sacrifices himself for her as like a way to clean out the red in his ledger from like Natasha or whatever. Kind of doing a little where Yelena finally understands what it was like for the both of them to be on Vormir. I've also seen some rumors of Bucky, which please no, but they could also kill him. They might kill Bruce, which wouldn't be the worst play because honestly, what is his character doing right now? I don't know. I could see them killing off some of the older characters that have just kind of lost their initial value as like such a vital person to the team. Like, you know, just because one, it shows the high risks of everything. Also seeing Tony, like, even though he's not Tony, seeing Tony kill Bruce or like Clint or like something that like that, it's gonna shock the fans really hard. And I think the shock factor is supposed to be very big with this movie. So
yeah, I just hope that they at least need to keep Thor until Secret Wars.
yes.
Yeah,
Because why is Thor crying? That question has
Thor
not been
crying?
answered. We need that answer.
Yeah.
And one other thing I just had in mind, just came off the top of my head. What if all of Doomsday takes place in the parallel universe that Steve made when he went back to Peggy? What if, because obviously the Fantastic Four know how to travel multiverses because their universe is obviously different from MCU. So they came to the MCU, right? And that's Thunderbolt's post-credit scene, right? So what if this entire Avengers Doomsday movie takes place in that universe? All of the characters, Avengers, all go to the past to get Steve, but also that's the universe where Doom is. And I could also see them playing off as, okay, Doom maybe came to the MCU. That's where we get the first interaction, right, with the Avengers, Thunderbolts, all of that. Oh, this is a big bad guy. Fantastic Four shows up, and they're like, yo, Doom, he was here. We tracked him here. Where'd he go? I don't know. He went off. Okay, what if Doom takes Franklin back to his universe, which could be from Steve's alternate timeline that he made with Peggy?
Wait,
because
yeah.
Back to your theory, and also just kind of incorporating his universe in there, I think will be really cool, because if Doom is from that universe, because Steve going back in time altered a bunch of stuff, then while they're going there, maybe Doom went through the X-Men universe as well, or Monica Rambeau reaches out somehow. That's how they bring the X-Men into it. So all these different universes go into the alternate one that Steve made, which may also happen to be the exact one that Doom is from as well.
Yeah.
Just that could be kind of cool. So that way, and the benefits with that, they keep the MCU timeline intact, and they can save that to either rip apart in Secret Wars, or they can just leave it intact for, you know, just the rest of the MCU, like, future and everything.
Another thing is America Chavez. She can literally jump from universe to universe. So Doctor Strange, I feel like, is probably going to be in this movie.
For sure.
I wouldn't be shocked if he isn't. America Chavez is like his like little protege, like the Peter to Tony situation. And she can jump universes. So I could see her also playing a very important role of like as transport for everyone. That would be a really good way to involve her. And if they're going to do the Young Avengers thing, getting all of them kind of in the same situation where they know each other at least. So I think they're going to pool a lot of characters as much as they can, even if they don't get as much screen time. But I could see her being an important character. That's all for today's episode.
Thank you guys so much for watching.
Be sure to swing by and check out the rest of our episodes.
Catch you on the next one.
Hello?
Hello. Hey, I want you girls to clean the house. I want you to vacuum the stuff, vacuum the hallway, the living room, all that stuff, like with the shop vac. And then wipe down the counters, do the dishes.
Not about to like say my stupid line again, but I don't remember what we say.
Oh, you say.
Okay, I don't remember
Yep.
our outro. Again.